Well, hi there. My name is Adam Cook. I'm your host for Telile 24/7. Thank you for joining me this week. I've got all kinds of stories and updates for you. We're going to take a look at a seniors complex in the Strait area that was having some trouble with cleanliness issues back in the spring and summer. Has anything happened to alleviate that? We'll tell you in just a few moments. As well, we'll talk to you a little bit about how a composting program for a local town has been postponed due to some issues involving the COVID-19 pandemic. And we'll speak to one of the newly acclaimed town councilors for Mulgrave. Although she's well known in Richmond County, we'll speak to musician and music instructor and new town councilor Krista Luddington. But we begin with municipal election talk since the nomination deadline has passed for the October 17th elections, and now people in Richmond County and the towns of Port Hawkesbury and Mulgrave know who they're going to be talking to over the next few weeks in terms of whether they're going to get their vote on October 17th. Here's a rundown of who's running in your community this fall. Let's begin in Richmond County. It's going to be very interesting this time around because there are no acclamations. Every seat on the county council is going to be contested for the first time in several years. Let's begin in Isle Madame, where a lot of familiar faces are seeking to take one of the two seats that comprise the island. For example, over in District 1, which takes in half of Arishat and the eastern portions of Isle Madame, James Goyesh is hoping to make it 2 council terms in a row. The veteran municipal councilor, who at one time served as warden of Richmond County, is going to face a challenge from a former councilor of a younger vintage. That's Rod Sampson. He served in the former District 2 from 2012 to 2016. He will be facing Goyesh as well as newcomers to the municipal election scene, first-time candidates Brandon Boudreau and Sean Sampson. Over in District 2, Alvin Martel is not reoffering. He has hung up his skates after a 16-year term on municipal council, so he's going to be leaving behind a gap that could be filled by another former municipal councilor. That would be Jerry Bork, who used to serve in the former District 4, taking in West Arishat and the surrounding communities. Ironically, Bork was defeated by Martel in the 2004 municipal election. Bork will take on 2 newcomers to the municipal scene, Carolyn Clackdoyle and Michael Digdon. In District 3, there's going to be a contest for the first time in 8 years. That's because Brian Marchand, the sitting warden, who was acclaimed last time around, is now going to have a challenger. She's Melanie Bro Sampson of Lewisdale, and she threw her hat into the ring late in August. So this will be the first time that Marchand faces a challenger of any sort in 8 years. In his first 2 municipal elections in 2008 and 2012, he had 2 other candidates trying to take the seat. This time around, it'll be a 2-person race between District 3, which takes in such communities as Lewisdale, Grand Anse, Whiteside, Evanston, Lower River Inhabitants, Cleveland, and Point Tupper. Turning our attention to the eastern end of the county, we find 2 very interesting races in District 4 and District 5. In District 4, which takes in St. Peter's, River Bourgeois, and the surrounding communities, you find veteran councillor Gilbert Boucher heading up against first-time candidate Amanda Mumbercat. Boucher has taken this riding 3 times, and the River Bourgeois resident is hoping for a 4th. However, he'll get a strong challenge from Mumbercat, the former executive director of the Strait Area Chamber of Commerce, a longtime business owner in the region, and a longtime board member for the Village on the Canal Association. They know her well in District 4, and she's hoping that that name recognition can carry her over the top as she takes on a veteran councillor. Meanwhile, over in District 5, incumbent councillor Jason McLean is hoping to hang on to the district that he won in 2016, a district that takes in such communities as his native Lordways, as well as Forshoe, Framboys, Loch Lomond, Johnstown, Irish Cove, Red Islands, and Bear Head. McLean is hoping to fend off a challenge from newcomer Brent Sampson, also from Lordways. Here in Port Hawkesbury, there's another incumbent leader hoping for re-election on October 17th. That's Brenda Chisholm-Beaton. She was acclaimed to the mayor's post in 2016. She was elected to town council for the first time in 2012. Despite having a challenger this time around, we'll have more on him in just a moment or two, Mayor Brenda Chisholm-Beaton is hopeful that the developments that have taken place in the town over the past 4 years will help her get over the finish line for a second term as mayor in mid-October. Now this time around, Brenda Chisholm-Beaton does have a challenger for the mayor's chair in Port Hawkesbury. His name, Archie McLaughlin. This is his first crack at elected politics on the municipal, provincial, or federal level, but he does have some name recognition in these parts because he usually is found over here. Archie McLaughlin is the union president for Local 972 of Unifor, which oversees most of the employees at the Point Tupper Mill, now known as Port Hawkesbury Paper. So McLaughlin is hoping that name recognition can help expand on what has so far been a quiet election campaign in Port Hawkesbury and help him to mount a strong challenge to Brenda Chisholm-Beaton in October. In addition to the race for the mayor's chair, there's also a high likelihood of some new faces on Port Hawkesbury Town Council this fall. That's because while there are 4 council seats available, there are only 3 incumbent councillors from the last term who are reoffering. They are Hughie McDougall and Mark McIver, 2 council veterans who have served at many times during the past 25 years, and Blaine McQuarrie, who was elected in a special election to fill a town council vacancy in late 2018. Joining them on the ballot, which is including an e-ballot and a phone ballot this time around in Port Hawkesbury, are 4 people who have never secured a council seat, including 2 newcomers who have never run in an election before. They are Jason O'Coin and Paula Hart. We're also seeing some returning candidates from previous elections. They include the former executive director of the Strait Area Chamber of Commerce, John Willett, who's making his second crack at town council, and a third-time candidate, Michelle Tabensky, who is a local entrepreneur and also the president of the Port Hawkesbury Rotary Club. Just like Port Hawkesbury, the town of Mulgrave is also going to have a contested mayoral election this year. But unlike Port Hawkesbury, Mulgrave's current mayor isn't in that race. Ralph Hadley announced late in August that he wouldn't be reoffering for the position. That leaves it open for 2 contenders, one who has been the mayor before and the other who has served the past 8 years on town council but has never run for mayor. That's Ron Chisholm. He was first elected to Mulgrave Council in a special election to fill a council vacancy late in 2012. But the situation's very different for Lorne MacDonald. This is his 3rd consecutive run for the mayor's job in Mulgrave. He won the first one by acclamation in 2012 and was defeated by Hadley in 2016. But as MacDonald hopes to return to the mayor's spot, Chisholm has a very interesting bit of trivia in that he has already defeated a former mayor in a run for a council job. That was Marnie Simmons, who, after stepping down from the mayor's post in 2012, decided to run for a basic town councillor spot in the special election later that year. Chisholm beat her that night. He's hoping to have that experience in his back pocket as he takes on a longtime councillor and former mayor in Lorne MacDonald. Now, whoever wins the mayor's job in Mulgrave in October, they're going to have a full town council waiting for them after they're sworn in. That's because there are 4 council seats available, apart from the mayor's job. But when the nomination deadline passed in Mulgrave on Tuesday afternoon, only 4 candidates had filed their nomination papers, so they were all acclaimed. That includes second-term councillors Bob Russell and Tanya Snow, but it also includes 2 newcomers. Crystal Durling is one of the new acclaimed town councillors, and we're going to speak to the other one right now. She is no stranger to our Telile audiences in Richmond County and around the Strait area. Originally from Dundee, she and her family have been living in Mulgrave for quite a while now, and she's been very involved in the community. Her name is Krista Luddington, and we're going to speak to her via Zoom right now. Here's that interview. And joining us from her home office in Mulgrave, which is about to get a lot busier over the next few weeks and into the next few months, is newly acclaimed municipal councillor for the town of Mulgrave, Krista Luddington. And Krista, first of all, congratulations. We're really, really excited that you're now part of council. How did you feel when you found out?
Thank you so much. And thanks for taking the time to chat, Adam. I appreciate that. I'm super excited. That's all I can say about it. It's something that I've considered on and off now for quite some time. When the last election hit, we were very, very new in the community. And so it wasn't the right time. But now we've kind of laid our roots down and gotten to know the people, gotten to know the community that we've grown to love. And so it just felt like the right time.
So I'm curious to hear that you were interested in running in the last election as well in 2016. What's motivated you to want to be involved in municipal politics and to sit on town council? What did you have going for you that led you to this decision and led you to where you are right now?
Yeah, so I mean, it's something that municipal politics in particular, I've always had a special interest in. And, I've tried to attend as many meetings as, I could. And for the meetings that I couldn't make, I've always kind of got caught up with the minutes and just always wanted to know what was happening. I think that's extremely important to know what's going on in the community around you and surrounding communities, right? To be in tune with what's going on. And I think what inspired me to be a part of that was I enjoy change. I've always been the type of person that I've wanted to kind of create and be creative. And so this really gives an opportunity to have a voice and be the voice for other people. And so it just only kind of made sense to me to pull that all together and to be able to do that in your hometown for the people that you love and just try and do the best that you possibly can and see where it goes.
It strikes me, thinking about your life, that you've always been involved, even as a teenager and even before then, at a volunteer level in so many different communities. You grew up in Dundee, obviously. You did that in St. George's Channel, in Dundee, and in Port Hawkesbury, and various places around the Strait area. Can you tell me a bit about what it's like to get involved in a place like Mulgrave? It seems that there's a special spirit that fills the town. Can you speak to me a little bit about that and about how that's really impacted you over the years that you and Jay and your children have been living there?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny, Adam. I still haven't been able to put my finger on it. So we moved in, it was just 4 years ago. So like I said, I'm really, really fresh in the community when the last election hit. And so ever since we moved in, there is something magical about Mulgrave that I just can't put a finger on. I know it's the people. The people who live in Mulgrave are extraordinary, and I think that they are the town's best asset. My husband and I, we play some music, and so we've put on different events, whether it be New Year's Eve or Halloween dances or what have you. And the amount of support and the amount of drive and excitement that fills a room when people from Mulgrave land there, it's like no other. And so it's really, really quite special. So getting involved, right from when we first moved here, I quickly found out that Heather Brennan, who I know you've had on the show here before, she is incredible. She's a driving force in this community in the recreation department. And she handles all recreation from toddlers to seniors and everyone in between. And so she was someone that I was like, I really need to get to know. And so that's what I did. I kind of reached out to her here and there. It was, typically about kids programs until you get to know each other a little bit. And then I wanted to join forces with her and see what I can do and see what we can do together to put on events in the community. And she's been wonderful. She's such an asset here. So, kind of working alongside her in the recreation department and coming together on different events over the past 4 years has been amazing. And so I really am positive about what's to come with the new town council. There's some new faces. Town council up to this point have worked tirelessly. They've worked extraordinarily hard for the community. And so it's about continuing that work and seeing where it goes.
I'm glad you brought up Heather Brennan, the recreation director for Mulgrave, because I had her on the show just a few months ago, and that was in the middle of the pandemic, and she was planning all these different things. They weren't really slowing down at all, as much as you can do during an actual pandemic, but they were really rolling right along. And it seems that Mulgrave has always had that spirit, and I've noticed that both before and after you folks have moved there. So can you speak a little bit as well to the spirit of Mulgrave, even in the face of adversity? And it has struggled with adversity over recent years. It almost wasn't a town just 3 or 4 years ago. So can you speak to that spirit and how you hope to be able to play a larger role in the development of Mulgrave now that you're on town council?
Yeah, so, even just with speaking with folks who have lived here their entire lives, where we're so new in the community, I've got a ton to learn, and I know that. And the best way to learn is to talk to people and hear their stories, and hear the issues that they're experiencing, and even hearing about what Mulgrave used to be and what it was, right? And so you hear that a lot about it used to be such a booming town with so many different amenities and options, and unfortunately that's not the reality right now. But with that being said, I do find that in the face of all of that, people are still positive. Like, they still have that genuine want for the town to succeed and to do well and to have all of these things again. Will it look the same as what it did 50 years ago, 60 years ago? Probably not, in all honesty. However, I do think that it's important to see not where we were, but where we can be, to be able to look forward, learn the lessons from where we were, and take the good from that, and then kind of move it forward and see what we can do. There's so much potential here, and there's so many opportunities. One of the things that I would love to see happen, we have the former Mulgrave School.
Yeah.
And there's lots of vacancies there, empty classrooms. What an awesome opportunity to turn that into an incubator for small business, new business, and see what we can do with that. Even just, encouraging people, not just Mulgrave residents, but bringing people in from other communities, surrounding communities, and see if they would be interested in starting up shop right here in Mulgrave. I think that would be amazing. And I know there'd be support, because that's what Mulgrave does.
We talked a little bit earlier about your volunteer work in both Mulgrave and around the Strait, but I don't know that everybody necessarily knows how much effort you've put into a lot of the real cornerstones of the Strait area, both inside and outside of Mulgrave. I mean, you've been a board member for the Strait Area Chamber of Commerce. You worked extensively at NSCC Strait Area Campus for a number of years. And most recently, your current position has you as an advertising executive at 1015 The Hawk right now. So you're getting the experience that has had you not only seeing the state of the economy around here, but also working with others on a team. So does all of that bode well for you as you're settling in with your new council colleagues?
I think so. I really like to consider myself as someone who can appreciate a different perspective. I like to work together as a team. I like to see change happen, as I said before. So if we have like-minded individuals who are open to thinking outside the box, because let's be honest, right now, I think there's a lot of constraints that may or could hold you back when it comes to Mulgrave. So there needs to be some creative thinking. There needs to be that thinking outside the box and coming up with new, fresh ideas. And as long as the people of the community are on board for that, and let's try different things and see what we can do, I think there can be a lot of magic happen here. Because it's already here. It's just to bring it out, right? So in terms of the other positions or volunteer positions that I've kind of held over the years, I think a lot of those qualities that you kind of gain through each role that you play, you can definitely carry them forward and bring it into any new role or position that you may assume. So I'm really, really excited to work together and just to see what we can do. I think there's a lot of potential here for sure.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about the team that you have coming in, and it's kind of intriguing to see in Mulgrave with the municipal election happening that there is still a race for mayor, but you know who's going to be on council with you, and you have a couple of returnees as well, Tanya Snow, Bob Russell, and you have Ms. Derling as well too, who is brand new to council just like yourself. So what's your sense on the group that you're going in with and what kind of work you folks will be able to do together?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know Crystal Durling. I haven't had the chance to meet her yet, but I've creeped her on Facebook. I'm not going to lie, and we've exchanged contact information, and we've added each other on Facebook, and she seemed very lovely, and I'm really looking forward to working with her. As for Tanya and Bob, I did have some experience with them before. Tanya and I and Heather we were the folks who started the Market by the Sea here in Mulgrave 3 years ago. And so, I've worked with Tanya on that project, and it's been great. And then with Bob, I was a part of the Mulgrave and Area Revitalization Committee for a bit at the very beginning. And so, got to know Bob through that as well. And I think that if there's one thing that I can say about the council moving forward, it's a hardworking council. It's a council that seems to love the community, and I think that you're going to see some great things happen.
Last question for you, Krista, and this is just on a personal note. Obviously, you need the support of not only the community, but also of your family to be able to make that run for municipal council, whether it's a successful run or not. And I imagine that you've got the support from Jay and from your girls as well, too. So can you tell me a little bit about what that was like, and what was their reaction when you found out that you'd been acclaimed?
Yeah, so I mean, definitely the support is there. I would be lying if I didn't say I kind of flip-flopped back and forth a little bit on, do I, don't I? Am I still too new in the community? Do I know enough? Can you learn? All of those things, right? And so what really pushed me over was my family talking to me, saying, nobody knows everything at first. And we've been here 4 years and we've gotten to know some people, but what a great opportunity to talk to more people and to learn about the history and to learn about where residents want to see the community in 4 years in the future. And so it was a lot of those types of talks that finally made me go, okay, all right, I'm going to pick up the package. I'm going to do it. And so, certainly a ton of support in that way. And yeah, when we found out about the acclamation, it was very exciting. It was super exciting. I had a moment of, oh, this is happening. Okay, well, let's do this.
There's no campaign. I'm already there.
I'm already there. Yeah. So it was an interesting feeling for sure. And yeah, I mean, Jay's been such a great support, and he's very excited too to see where this goes.
Oh, that's wonderful. We've covered a lot of ground in a short time, Krista, and I appreciate you giving me some time here. Did you want to add anything else before we wrap up?
No, you know what? Thank you so much for taking the time to chat. And I'm really, really looking forward to the next 4 years, and hopefully we'll get a chance to chat again.
Well, we're looking forward to it, and I suspect this is not the last time that I'll be interviewing you for Telile 24/7, but thank you so much, and congratulations on making your first successful jump to Mulgrave Town Council. Look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Thanks, Adam. Take care.
All right, you too. Krista Ludington is one of the newly acclaimed town councilors for Mulgrave, and we've been speaking to her at her home office via Zoom. Stay tuned for more of Telile 24/7 in just a moment. Now, we all know that COVID-19 has had a major impact on the way municipalities carry out their basic business, and that impacts the daily lives of people like you and I. For example, in Port Hawkesbury, a green cart composting program was set to get going this past spring. There had even been a person hired to carry out the program and roll out education programs for Port Hawkesbury residents to be able to get them on board with the green cart program. But of course, COVID-19 had something else to say about that. I got the chance to ask Port Hawkesbury Mayor Brenda Chisholm-Beaton about that in a recent interview. We haven't had time to give an update on previous shows, so here's what she had to say in late August about Port Hawkesbury's Green Cart program. I understand that there has been someone hired to get the Green Cart composting program rolled out in Port Hawkesbury. Is that the case? And do you have any kind of prospective timeline for when this is going to kick in?
Sure. So things are still very much early days with regard to that whole process. We do have a person that has been hired. So the intention of the program will be to provide education and information to businesses, to our citizens, to seniors in particular, perhaps even getting into our schools to talk to kids. And the whole idea is around the green carts and composting, how to do it, when to do it. So that's going to be a significant educational process, and it's definitely not going to happen overnight. We don't have an exact target for when we will begin implementing the green card program. So I can't speak to that at this point. But I can say that when we do choose that rollout date, there will be a kind of adjustment period so that our citizens can get used to the green cards and understand exactly how to do it. And if they need supports with that, we certainly can offer that. And then there will be another date chosen after that adjustment period that will be okay. Then there will be maybe some rules around compliance and that sort of thing. So I think that our citizens can expect that will be certainly not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a significant process. So over the manner, probably over the stretch of the next maybe 12 months or more, we will see that process begin and play out.
So we won't know for another year whether or not Port Hawkesbury is ready to officially roll out its green card program. And we're not seeing any similar efforts from the town of Mulgrave or from the municipality of Richmond County. In any case, it's not a matter of Port Hawkesbury having put the cart before the horse, but they tried to schedule the green cart before the pandemic. Not every story that we cover here at Telile 24/7 has a happy ending. So we're pleased to be able to bring you an update that has a positive note for a seniors complex here in Port Hawkesbury. Back in March, some of our earliest viewers of Telile 24/7 might remember that we reported on Sunset Manor. It's a seniors building for those who don't qualify for specific nursing care at the nearby Port Hawkesbury nursing home. And at the time of the report back in March, Town councillors Hughie McDougall and Trevor Boudreau, since departed from council, had some concerns about the overall cleanliness and upkeep of the building and felt that the Cape Breton Island Housing Authority should be contacted to try to straighten things out. During a virtual town council session held on the evening of September the 1st, Port Hawkesbury CAO Terry Doyle outlined several items that the Cape Breton Island Housing Authority is addressing within Sunset Manor. The Housing Authority has hired companies to tackle several different things, including an overall servicing of the building, replacing the flooring, particularly in the common areas, replacing lights in the kitchen areas, and as well repairing water mains. In addition, CAO Doyle confirmed that the Cape Breton Island Housing Authority has hired a pest control company with the intent of removing silverfish from Sunset Manor before September the 15th. And in response to a concern raised by Town Councillor Hughie McDougall, Doyle added that the issue of dryer vents recirculating unclean air around Sunset Manor common areas will be looked at as well. McDougall had taken a video with evidence of this dryer vent recirculation and had presented it to the CAO and to Mayor Brenda Chisholm-Beaton, who both forwarded that video on to the Housing Authority demanding action. At the virtual council meeting held on September the 1st, councillors McDougall and Macquarie thanked Port Hawkesbury town staff for their diligence on these matters at Sunset Manor and expressed some optimism that these issues that have been lingering for several months will finally be addressed, providing a sunnier day tomorrow for the residents of Sunset Manor. And that wraps up this week's edition of Telile 24/7. Thank you for joining in, and we hope you'll pass along your suggestions for story ideas and future interviews that we can do on the show. There are many ways to reach us. You can reach out to me directly. You can call me at 902-625-8863. Email adamjrcook, that's Cook with an E, at gmail.com. Or you can contact Telile directly. The station number is 902-226-1928. Don't forget to follow Telile on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you go to Telile's YouTube channel, you'll not only find every single episode of Telile 24/7, including this one, but you can also check out stories and interviews from the individual shows. And there's a lot of great new material ranging from music to interviews that my colleagues at Telile have put on the YouTube channel recently. Check them out, and we hope you'll find something you enjoy and something that might help you even learn a little bit once in a while. For now, I'm Adam Cook. Looking forward to seeing you on next week's show, but thanks for tuning in this week to Telile 24/7. We'll see you soon.